Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One. Thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the IWC Portuguese Perpetual Calendar reference 5032-03. You can see this 44mm white gold perpetual calendar on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch looks and feels like something truly special. The incredible combination of navy blue strap, beautiful, almost cobalt dial, and that multiply surfaced, satin and polished white gold case creates the image of a blue dream on your forearm. Gorgeous. At 44mm across the round of the case, not including the crown, the watch has a deep and immensely impressive, one might even say imposing, 16mm thickness to that gorgeous white gold case, and from lug to lug you're looking at a 52.5mm span, which, considering the heft and the 44mm round measurement, is actually quite reasonable. So you can wear this watch on a smaller wrist. I would say 14.5 centimeters might be the lower limit to fit this watch securely and with style, but that is going to give a lot of options to a lot of wrists. No matter how big your wrist is, this thing is going to have essentially impeccable presence and unrivaled charisma. The combination of a blue dial and a white metal is absolutely classic, and most high-end watchmakers reserve it for their absolutely most important, special, thoughtfully designed, and charismatic watches. Now in this case, we have a white gold case mated to a wonderfully supple and minimally bolstered alligator leather. Now you can see there is a monotone stitch to that navy strap. On the underside, matching calfskin, very, very soft against the skin with excellent flexibility. Even though it is an immense watch, the fact that it doesn't have conforming strap ends, that is, they're not pinned against the flanks of the case, means you can easily pull them down around the tighter curve of a smaller wrist, and I appreciate that fact as my wrist isn't that big, although it is relatively flat across the top. Now, nicely matched to the watch is a beautiful, alternately polished and satin finished IWC single fold deployant. You can see the IWC logo on the outside, and you can see the quality of the finishing on the inside. There isn't a single burr, there isn't a single scratch, there isn't a single unfinished surface or relic of the machining and the stamping of this clasp. It's as beautifully finished as the case itself. Closes with a satisfying snick and snap. Now the condition of this watch is outstanding, and that starts with the exterior of the case. I really want to highlight the contrasting finish because it has an almost jewel-like effect. You have the muted tones of the satin finished flanks, and that gorgeous polished concave bezel just lights up, and it cues nicely against the polished hoods of the lugs. The lugs themselves are actually a little bit more complex and sensuous than you may think at first. They taper beautifully. They thrust downward to allow a fit to a smaller wrist. They curve around the curve of your wrist. But also, when you look at them from head on, you can see they tumble off to the sides. There's an immense amount of complex curvature in this case, this bezel, and these lugs. Even so, the highlight is the dial. Beautifully rendered in that cobalt blue, it simply explodes from the white metal case. And because it is a Portuguese, when you look at it head on, the bezel and the case seem to fall away, absolutely minimized, the stylists putting the dial itself front and center. It seems like the bezel is almost just a halo of white gold around the main vent, and no doubt, because with all applied white gold indices, Arabic numerals, and all hands also in white gold, there's a gorgeous two-tone contrast going on here. Now, in traditional Portuguese style, since 1939, the watch does feature Arabic numerals. It does feature gorgeous leaf-style hands at center, but this being the 5032 Perpetual, it features a few other refinements, and that's an understatement. But the bottom line is that with a full perpetual calendar, day, date, month, even year, decade, and century, this is information overload. What I do like is that this 2010 debut helped to revive the double moon phase, first seen in the 2003 5021. Now the double moon phase disappeared for a few generations to resurface with the 5032. It gives you the moon phase in the northern and the southern hemisphere, and I find it to be just a bit more poetic, just a bit more romantic. On the case back, of course, we have the true romance of any mechanical watch, a mechanical movement. This is part of the family of the 50,000 series that IWC builds as the largest automatic caliber in the world, entirely executed in-house. This watch features a free-sprung balance for resistance to shock-induced timing variations. It has a Breguet over coil hairspring so that no matter what position you leave it in, it's going to resist timing variation for that reason, especially if you're the type to put a watch down on a desk for a few days. That's going to come in handy. Now, it is a 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate, so just a bit slower and statelier than a conventional 4 Hz, but the payoff there is that with an immense single mainspring barrel, you can see it underneath the barrel bridge, the watch has 168 hours of power reserve in tandem with a perpetual calendar. 62 joules, this caliber 51614 is a true mechanical masterpiece, and that's before we even get into the fact that when you advance the perpetual calendar on this watch, all of the indications from the date to the day to the month to the moon to the year advance in sequence. A single point of adjustment from one crown. You don't have to worry about case flank pusher correctors marring the lines of the watch, nor do you have to worry about figuring out what the moon phase is at the moment or the day, the date, coordinating therein, because the watch is simply programmed to always show the correct day, date, month, and moon phase, and yes, year. If you think IWC is guilty of over-engineering this watch, you don't know the half of it, because this watch includes an accessory century slide that allows you to update the century. Yes, you get centuries 22, 23, and 24 with this watch, just in case you're still around. But the bottom line is, this is a timeless piece in any age. You can see it and you can buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.